Welcome to Mind Controllers, a podcast about shining the light on the psychological aspects behind some of our favorite video games. I'm your host, Brandon Craw, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Joe Moreno.
And today we're going to be doing Scatterbrained Episode 2, and we're going to just chat about some of our favorite announcements from Nintendo Direct, some of the video games that we've been playing, and I don't know, whatever other media we've been excited to enjoy. Yeah, I don't even know, Joe. Do you even want to start with the Nintendo Direct first? Do you want to start with what we're playing first? Because I feel like that's going to be a shorter conversation than
Let's start
the Direct.
With that. Yeah, let's start with what we've been playing. So, yeah, if you don't mind, I'll take it away.
Go for it. Yeah, tell me what you've been enjoying.
So, as you know, we've been texting a lot about Persona 3 Reload, right? I'm making my way. I'm at the final month, finally, right? 85 hours in. I'm at the final month. It's the last 10% of the game. I'm done with the dungeon, right? I'm just waiting for the last part of the game to unlock, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? It's done. And this is like my third time playing through Persona 3, right? I played it on PS2, on the PS3 when it was like on the PSN store. I played it on PSP. There was like a portable version. And you got to play as a female route. There was a female route. So I played that one. I saw my friend, the artist for our cover, Sam.
Yeah. Shout out to Sam.
Saw him play through P3 portable, helped him out with it. So technically that's like a third playthrough too. And then this one, Royal Reload, right? Reload. Yeah. So this is it. The DLC was announced. It's coming out September 10th. But I'm just having so much fun with it. Like, with RPGs, you go into battle, you hear the same song. Dude, I'm already missing that song. I'm like, damn, once this is over, I'm going to be sad. Like,
really?
I already miss it, right? Because I know that the end is coming. And man, that ending, it hits you hard. Because Persona 3 is all about death, right? Life is, is finite, So I know what's at the end. And even then I'm like, damn, I'm going to miss this game.
You know what's at the end. Yeah. Wow. That's a philosophical quote.
Game.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it so many times, watched the movies, which are like the anime, right?
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been playing. I've been playing Paper Mario 1000-Year Door as well. Just finished chapter 2 because I had to take a break from P3R because I was just I had some dental work done, so the last couple of weekends I've just been putting in the work in P3R. So I decided, let me give myself a break from Persona 3 and play another RPG, right? 1000-Year Door for like an hour or two. So I finished chapter 2, which for me, 1000-Year Door chapter 2 is kind of like one of the weaker chapters. Yeah, chapter 3 I really love because it's like a WWE type, like arena arc type thing. And it's so fun. It's fun. I love it. I love chapter 3, so I'm looking forward to that.
Wow. When was the last time you played Paper Mario 1000-Year Door? Because the fact that you know what's happening in each chapter is also impressive to me.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I would make it through chapter 3 and 4 and then drop it, right? So it wasn't until COVID hit. When COVID hit, and you know how we're all stuck at home, and I was like, damn, I really want to play some GameCube games, right? So I found an old disc, but it was all scratched up. So I got it cleaned up at a shop out in, I think in Torrance or something. They cleaned it up and I was able to play it on my Wii, right? And I actually played through the whole thing around like 2020, 2021. So like it's fairly recent, right? Like I just played this like yesterday, it seems, but yeah, wow. I mean, so I know what to expect, I played through it a bunch of times, watched like other Let's Players, go through it as well. This is a game that like I really enjoy because I remember getting it for Christmas when it came out. I think it was like 2004. So it's a game that like I hold special to my heart because it was like one Christmas morning, it was just Paper Mario, and I think I was like in maybe 4th or 5th grade or something, and it just, it's nostalgia, right? It takes me back to when things were simpler and the gameplay is amazing. I mean, I just love that gameplay.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, I haven't played it yet. I do plan on playing it sometime this year, but it sounds like it's even more than just nostalgia for like how good of a game this is.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's the best Paper Mario game.
It is.
And some of the most fun mechanics, best story, and best like interactions through the world, I feel like is from what I've seen, where you like, what is it? You get like folded up into a paper airplane and like tossed, and that it's kind of how you navigate certain aspects. Or if you like squeeze in between buildings or something like that because you're made out of paper, and just a lot of creative, fun stuff like that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it seems so, I don't know, innovative, interesting, and colorful, vibrant, lively. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And the dialogue's really good. It's pretty funny, and so far I think they've kept most of the dialogue the same. And it's a good time. I'm enjoying it.
I feel like every time I hear you talk about P3R or Persona 3 Reloaded and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, I'm always like, I need to play those games. I actually found out that I had $50 in eShop credit on
Okay.
my Switch, and I was like tempted to buy Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, but then I'm like, oh, the direct is tomorrow. I'm gonna wait and see if maybe there's some sort of surprise drops or something, which there weren't. I mean, not any paid surprise drops, but definitely some surprises there that we'll get to in a second and talk about in a second. Yeah, was there anything else? Any other game that you've been playing that?
No, I've kind of been taking it easy on the fighting games because I haven't been feeling well with the dental
Yeah.
work. Don't want to get like heated, right? Playing fighting games. So I've been taking a break from those.
Nice.
But other than that, just P3R, Thousand Year Door. Yeah, that's about it. What have you been playing?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So I played a lot of the what's it called, Steam Next Fest games, and tried a lot of demos last week, and then a bit over this past weekend. I talked about them in that first Scatterbrained episode, but there were a couple that I didn't write one of them down. I kind of forgot what it was called already. I need to search it up in my history here, but yeah, there were a couple that I ended up playing over the past couple of days because even though Steam Next Fest ended on Monday, June 17th, there were still a few games that maintained that demo status, and then they didn't immediately like pull it from your library. Even then, they don't pull the game from your library. It just changes from play demo to purchase game. Yeah, so I was still able to play some of those games. One of them was called Dungeons and Degenerates Gambler, and that one was a roguelike deck builder. You could tell it wants to be Balatro so badly, but instead of poker hands, it is blackjack.
Okay.
So it doesn't feel quite as interesting or strategic as like poker would. Because do you know poker hands and stuff, or like?
No, not really.
Okay. I guess. Do you know the rules of blackjack?
Yeah.
Okay, where you're trying to get point total of 21. If you go over that, you bust. At least with poker, there's different hands you could play. You could play a pair of cards. You could play, at least in Balatro, a 3 of a kind, a 4 of a kind of like the same card number. And there's like opportunities to have even like 5 of a kind or 6 of a kind because of how the game is set up. And you could like transform certain cards to the same cards or like duplicate certain cards. So there's like a lot of different variations there in Balatro. But in this game, you are mostly just trying to get to that 21 point total. And you're facing off against another player, it's not even a dealer, just like another NPC player who's also trying to hit 21. And if you don't get to 21, there's this weird like HP system going on as well, where you have health and your opponent has health. And whoever wins that hand doesn't take any damage, but the difference in the point total is deducted from the HP of the opponent. So say I got 21, my opponent got 18, they would lose 3 health. And the objective of each round, of each match, is to get that player's health down to 0. The problem is a lot of times, and if you go over, like if you bust over 21, then it counts as 0. So then whoever takes a lot of damage. But there's like a lot of weird, quirky mechanics where like, say you get to 19 and like, I don't know, and your opponent has 16, but you don't want to go over, you have to hold. Like you have to you're not going to take any more cards. And then the opponent gets an opportunity to like, I don't know. And it feels like the ball is just completely in their court because you held, you have no more actions and you can't perform any more actions for the rest of that round. And then the opponent can kind of just do whatever they want at that point. I mean, if they go over and bust, then they lose, but usually they'll have like some other cards that have some effects that are just chilling in their hands. So they're kind of saving it and waiting for you to just hold. And there's just a lot of like small things about it that don't feel great to play. And even though I only played the demo for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe, it felt really repetitive. And I was just like, No, I'm sorry. I'm not enjoying this quite as much as I enjoyed Balatro, but I do appreciate the attempt of like trying to do something in that similar vein, but with blackjack. So unfortunately, I would give that one like a pass for now, unless they like fine tune it. Other than that, I've also been playing Elden Ring. I'm really hyped for that Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I saw the rating, like I saw the score. I think the review embargo dropped the other day.
Yeah.
And that shit's sitting at like a 95 on Metacritic right now. It's the highest rated DLC ever. It's just like, I am so ready for this. But I did that playthrough on my PlayStation, and I really don't want to play on the PlayStation right now. Like, because I got the new computer, I just want to, play games on that. So started a whole new playthrough on the computer, and I forgot how hard that game is. I wasted like 2 hours just trying to get something so I could do a bleed build, which is pretty overpowered in that game because of the way the bleed system works. I forget. You played Elden Ring, but
I played it on launch. Yeah.
Yeah, and you beat it?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of build did you do, if you remember?
I did strength. Ended up with a strength build. I had some dex as well because I was using I think it was the curved greatsword or something, the one that makes others bleed.
Okay. You're doing like a bleed
and
thing
then
too.
And then I just put it all into strength because I wanted to use that giant cement slab shield that you can find.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was having trouble with Elden Beast because it was just like, I was raging, man. It was like 20, 30 tries, right? And I was like, am I just bad at this or what? No. So I was just like, someone online was like, hey, try this shield, right? And I was like, okay. So I started pumping everything into strength. And yeah, like first try, that was it. That shield really did it for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I just saw a lot of damage.
I should have tried that. I did like a intellect build for the first time since I've heard like in most Souls games, magic is just like kind of overpowered, and it still kind of is in this game. But with Elden Beast, almost all of those attacks are holy damage. So I saw some clip of someone who just stacked holy damage, holy resistance, and like they were just standing in the middle, taking every hit. It was like barely moving their health bar. They were like pretty much invincible for that fight.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, okay, I need now I know what to do next time I get to Elden Beast. But thankfully, don't even need to get there to access the DLC. Just need to beat Mog and then Radon, which are two they're bosses you could get to relatively quickly. So I'll probably just like try to mainline those guys and then beat them, and then trying to hop into that DLC. But yeah, I want to stream me playing it, but I'm also very tempted to download some mods just to like mess around with the game and like maybe make it a bit easier for me. I don't know. I feel like after playing it the first time and now after playing Hades 2, I'm kind of enjoying that little bit of challenge of like harder game difficulty and being forced to learn how to play it. Because I'm not the biggest fan of difficulty. But other than that, I don't really think I've been playing anything else. I kind of fell off of Dragon's Dogma 2. I really wanted
the first one.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah.
I might pick it up again. It feels at times it just feels so abstract and also a little buggy to the point where it's like hard to get through at times with not as much variety. I think it's the one thing that would kind of solve a lot of problems for me would be a better fast travel system. Because right now it's like having to acquire the fairy stones and also placing I forgot what they're called, some sort of like shard or something so that you could use the fairy stones to fast travel too. And I don't have a lot of those shards. I think the fairy stones you could just buy in a shop, but even those are a little pricey at the start. So it doesn't feel like you can have a lot of them. And then it feels like whichever ones you do have, you got to hold them for an emergency, which usually means never use them. At least for me, since I always end up hoarding every item. But
yeah, so I know the director's like fast travel. No, get that shit out of here. Right?
Yeah,
he wants you to walk through the world and make your own adventures, which I can respect. I don't mind. Right?
Yeah.
If you played Death Stranding, that's a lot of walking. You're walking across the U.S. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't mind it, but the no fast travel is not for everyone.
Yeah, I liked it at first, but then when I found myself going to and from the same locations over and over again, I was just like, oh, please, come on. I don't want to spend 5 to 10 minutes just like walking over there again. And then the cart system too is fine once you understand it, but like it doesn't I felt like it didn't do a great job of showing me where I was going to travel to when I took them for the first time.
Mhm.
I think there was one in the main city. And it said that it was going to take me to like halfway town or something like that. And I'm like, halfway between where? What do you mean halfway town? And it turns out that there is a village called Halfway Town that I guess was halfway between the main city and then some other city in the southwest. So I took the cart there, but I needed to go east. So I was just like, oh shit. Now I'm not stuck there. I could take the cart back, but I wish it did a bit better of a job there too. But I think maybe I'm not the main audience for this game, even though I do like a lot of the systems and the mechanics, and I do enjoy the game, but maybe not quite as much as some other titles that are out right now or coming out soon or that I still want to get to. So because of that, I don't want to waste my time playing a game that I feel like I'm not fully into at the moment. It was nice for when I didn't have a lot to play, like a few months ago or a few weeks ago, even when it felt like there was a bit of a lull. But now that more games are coming out again, I feel a little less inclined to pick it up.
Okay, I see.
Speaking of games coming out, we got that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, we do.
Oh man. Quick thoughts about it? Like, you don't need to go into the individual game, just overall. How'd you feel about it?
I wasn't expecting much, right? I was just like, this is probably the last direct before the successor. So I'm like, sure, whatever, right? Like I wasn't, but then, I was like, Mario and Luigi, right? Brothership. Like when they started with that, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's pretty sick. I love those games. I think I played through the first one and the third one. I enjoy them. They're not my favorite, but I'm down to play a new one. But yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I mean, and then we got that Marvel vs. Capcom collection out of nowhere, right? That was like, for me, that was hype. I was like, oh, finally, I don't need to go to an arcade and pay so much to fucking play MVC2. Now I can just have it at home, right? And I was like, finally.
You were the first person I thought of when I saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, everyone was like, it sucks it's not on Xbox. It's going to be on PS4 and Switch and Steam. I feel bad for the Xbox fans because it's like, it's like, that's kind of like a gut punch because I know they love their fighting games too.
Yeah. I wonder why. I wonder why it's not coming to Xbox. Like, is it a licensing issue with the characters? And like, maybe they had the MVC, I don't know, devs or whoever like had rights to the Sony and Nintendo only had rights or something like that, but Microsoft doesn't. That's weird.
Sure. Yeah, it's very strange. But I don't want to be like regardless, whatever, but I mean it's coming out. It's coming out this year, and it's like cool because I can finally play it. I don't have to go on eBay to buy a copy on the Dreamcast I don't have.
Yeah.
Right. I could just buy it on Switch. I'm like, great. I'm happy with this. And it's also like other versus games like X-Men versus Street Fighter. And games that you'll find in the arcade back in like, the 90s, 2000s, right? There's not that many arcades left. We have a lot of barcades out here in LA, but even then, like, you're not guaranteed to find, Street Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter, or whatever. Right. Yeah. So for me, this direct was surprising. I really enjoyed it. I give it like a solid A. Not gonna lie, they surprised me.
Same thing here. The fact that it opened up, like you said, with the Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm a big fan of the Mario and Luigi games. I have so many fond memories of playing them, like the Game Boy Advance. So like, I forgot what that first one was called, but yeah. So I was so hyped to see that, and I felt like that kind of set a precedent for the rest of the direct. I was happy that I got one thing that I was excited for. And then, when we got towards the later half with the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I was like, oh shit, we are back. The Switch is not going anywhere, at least not for another 6 months to a year. We'll see whenever Switch 2 comes out.
Nintendo still has some things cooking, right? And it's like at the end of the life cycle. And then that's what we're thinking, right? Because, I mean, look online, it's like, oh yeah, 2025 is when we'll get the successor, right? But like, they still had some stuff in the chamber, right? Like, it's wild.
Some of those games, though, on that were being shown on the Direct, I felt like looked rough. Yeah. They looked like really jagged. So you could tell that it's reaching like the end of its life.
It's reached it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not coming up. It's here. I think I even told you in text about how Metroid Prime 4 looked way too good to be just running natively on the Switch.
Yeah, it has to be on the 2. It has to be like a release, like a like same day release as the successor.
Do you know if that trailer? Yeah, I was thinking maybe a launch title or soon after the successor comes out. Did you see on the trailer of Metroid Prime 4 anything that said like gameplay running on Switch or something?
No,
Or
honestly, I didn't go back and look. I was once Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection was out announced. I was like, I'm done. We're done. We're out of here. We're good. Let me time travel to where I can buy this game. Let me buy it now. Let me pre-order now.
Damn, so you didn't pre-order Funko Fusion?
No, it looked all right, but I was just like, no, I'm not the audience for this. You know,
yeah, that game in particular felt like it was trying to capitalize on the success of all the Lego games that have been coming out for the past few years. Well, more than that, but it just doesn't. It looked weird. There were some like franchises that were thrown in there. I'm like, why are we doing this, guys?
Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah, I think
I was like, who asked for this? But we did get an announcement for that Square Enix game that was on Apple Arcade. I think Fantasia.
Oh, is it Formagia?
No.
No.
Pull up the list. It's
Fantasian Neo Dimension.
Neo Dimension, and I was like, cool. Finally, I don't have to play that on Apple Arcade. So
I didn't know about this. So this was an Apple Arcade exclusive.
I believe so. Yeah, and it's a Square Enix game, so it's a RPG.
2021. What the hell?
Yeah, it was on there for a while, so I'm pretty happy we're getting that. And now we're just going through the individual games, right? I have my list pulled up. Dragon Quest. I'm down to play through the Dragon Quest games. I love those games, so there's a lot of good stuff.
I know some people are really excited about that. I've never played through any of the Dragon Quest games. Depending on what's out at that moment, I might check it out. It looked fun. It's another solid classic JRPG with a HD remake aesthetic to it. Yeah, I'm also going through this list as well. Hello Kitty Island Adventure,
which that was on Apple Arcade too, I think.
Was it?
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
More farming games, right?
Yeah,
you always need more.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. I never played the original Donkey Kong Country, and I do kind of like the platformers, so maybe I'll check that out. Yeah, a lot of these other games Super Mario Party Jamboree. I'm a big fan of the Mario Party games in the franchise, but definitely acknowledge its shortcomings when it comes to like the length of the gameplay of a whole game, and then the fact that it feels so unfair at times when you're in the lead and then all of a sudden you get some bad luck, and then like one player in particular will have like 10 opportunities to buy stars, and then all of a sudden they win. Yeah, that can feel a little shitty.
Yeah, that's why Super Mario Party is cool, fun, but like it's that meme of that little girl that's like thinking about playing whatever and actually playing it, and she's like in distress. That one meme? That's what I feel about Mario Party.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but the thought of having just like a bunch of fun, like little mini games to play against the other players in the room or play online always sounds like a good time to me. The board game, the meta game aspect of it, that I'm like, I could do without that. If it could just be like mini game sprint, and whoever wins the most mini games out of like 20 or something wins that round or wins that match, then I don't know. That sounds kind of fun to me. Maybe I'm just asking for a new WarioWare game.
Yeah, at that point you're asking for WarioWare.
Yeah, I do love WarioWare too. Yeah, and still just going through this list of games. Were there any others that you were like cautiously curious about?
Romancing Saga 2 caught my attention, which is another RPG. But comes out in October, and we already have Metaphor. We have Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no shot for that in my extension.
I know.
I feel bad because it looks interesting.
It does. Was this the game that had the interesting mechanic of like position and
formations,
like bending? Yeah, where you can bend the shot.
No, that was in I think the Fantasia one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fantasia and Neo Dimension. Yeah, that's the one where you can like bend the direction. Gave me like that little gameplay, I guess, mechanic reminded me of Infinite Wealth, right? How you can push enemies into each other. And I was like, that's cool. I like that.
I do too. And I was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. That's fun that they have incorporated that into like a traditional JRPG setting like that. It's funny how the Nintendo Direct literally came out of nowhere with like an announcement Monday morning that it's going to happen within 24 hours. And then it comes and there's like some huge announcements that no one predicted, aka the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, in which you like finally play as Zelda with a new interesting mechanic of like copying all this stuff, copying the world around you.
Yeah.
in
Even
order
the
to
enemies.
solve the puzzles. Yeah, and the enemies, like to then fight on your side, like against whatever else. Like, yeah, it's just so creative and fun. And like, I know it's different than the regular Zelda gameplay, but I don't care. I trust them. I trust what Aonuma is doing, or Aonuma. I think it's Aonuma.
And I think it comes out pretty soon in like September, right? That's like October. So there's another game to add, right, to the list. God damn it.
I know. I'm going to save my $50 for Paper Mario that I was going to spend on Paper Mario Thousand Year Door probably on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I could let you borrow it. I'll be done with it in like, give me like a month and you can have at it with Paper Mario.
Shit. Yeah.
I don't mind.
I'd appreciate that. Yeah. I forgot that you have the physical form of it.
This is why I collect physical, because I'm like, if a friend's ever in need, I got you, man.
Well, I appreciate it because I always get the deals for digital. So I just have so many games on digital now, but I always prefer physical too.
Anything else in that list? Are you excited for Fairy Tail 2?
Which I couldn't even tell you what that gameplay was looking like. I've gotta pop it open right now. This one seemed like a super generic JRPG. Yeah, I can't say I'm excited, but for anyone who is, like, I'm happy for you. Go enjoy your food.
Yeah.
It says the original one is called Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest.
Something like that.
Have you ever played that?
No,
came out in 2018.
I've never watched Fairy Tales. I have no reason to play it, but it just doesn't strike my interest.
Yeah.
That one free-to-play game, what is it called? New Denpa Men? The one that like knees and like weird costumes. I was like,
yeah, that shit was wild.
I was like, what is this? I'm kind of interested. Low-key interested. So,
that was the kind of unhinged shit from like Dreamcast era that I kind of miss. Like with the Seaman game, like that was wild too. This seems weird.
Dreamcast has some weird stuff. So I like weird stuff like that, right? Because it's not conventional, right? It's something interesting and it's just weird. It's just Nintendo being weird, and I like when Nintendo does that.
Same here. Other than that, I don't think so. Anything else for you? You want to chat about from this list?
That one game, because I was talking with my brother about the 100-line Last Defense Academy by the Danganronpa studio.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks interesting, but like, let's say I lose on day 95. Do I start from day 1? Because that's rough.
That is very true. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of save states like in between each day.
Oh, that's for Darkest Dungeon, where you're going to lose the run 60 hours in. And
Bro, I saw that Darkest Dungeon 2 trailer for Switch, and I'm like, I guess this is probably a good way to play that game on like portable console like Switch, but I do not want to play that game.
Yeah, like imagining losing the run 60 hours in, and the game's like, well, too bad, start over.
Sorry.
Maybe if I was like in my teens, that'd be cool.
Right.
Growing up, that'd be cool when you feel like you have infinite time. But now it's like, nah, dude. No way.
Not for us, at least. I know my cousin was really big into Darkest Dungeon 1. I think he was following the second game's development pretty closely as well, but I don't know if he ended up playing it or what. I think Elden Ring is probably the furthest extent of like my patience for a challenging game.
Was there anything that you wanted to see in the direct?
Even though it was probably too soon for it, I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan, so I would have loved to see something. I don't know what. I'm not expecting a new game because it feels like those come out once
console generation.
Once a console. Yeah. If they're developing one for Switch 2, then, that's fine. I really loved the New Horizons, and I don't know how many. I probably put in like close to 400 hours into that game.
Okay.
With how much I was playing it. I know you still play it.
I still play it daily. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
at least like 20 minutes. I just do the chores, like the fossils, the picking up the weeds. And it's like the end of my day. It's like a little break for 20 to 30 minutes. Because it's not repetitive. It's
peaceful.
It's peaceful. Like the sounds and whatnot. The music, like even the crunching of the grass when it's winter, when like on the snow.
Yeah,
I love that. It's
cozy.
It's really nice, and it's just routine at this point for me. So yeah, I'd be down for a new one. I'm pretty sure I've passed like 800 hours on it in total.
Oh man. Is that the most playtime you have for any game, or?
Yeah, and it sucks because when I switched over to my Switch OLED, it kept my hours from the original Switch, which capped at 550. So for it to continue counting my hours, I have to pass 550, right? So yeah,
okay.
so it's stuck. It's perpetually stuck at 550, and I think I upgraded my OLED 2 years ago. So 20 minutes a day for 2 years. I'm sure it's like at 800.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. So it didn't count it, but you've been keeping track.
Yeah,
And it's near 800.
Yeah.
Nice. So I guess Animal Crossing would be my answer for that. What about for you? For something you kind of wanted to see?
Golden Sun Collection or something. I know we have it on the GBA.
Yep.
I think I won't call it the emulator. That's what it is, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a collection, but maybe in the Switch too, right? I'm not like dying for one right now because there's so many RPGs that are going to be coming out, so many games. So not too bummed out about that, but I'm sure we'll get it eventually. Maybe when, I don't know. Before we hit our 40s, maybe.
That's wishful thinking. No, it seems like they're starting to be a bit like Nintendo, be a bit more keen on what the people are asking for, at least online. So, because we're asking for it now, we're probably going to get it 5 years from now. But, people have been asking for it, and it feels like that voice is getting a little bit louder each year. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before they at least put out maybe a new game even in the Golden Sun series or something close to it. Was it Sea of Stars that was like the spiritual? They had Golden Sun in mind when they developed that? Or
no, I think that was maybe Chrono Trigger.
Maybe, yeah. That would make more sense, actually. Yeah.
Which
you're right.
I would have loved the Chrono Trigger remake. Because it's stuck on the SNES, Super NES. I mean, the Super NES, SNES, and the DS. I think there was a DS port as well, and on phones. I think. But I'm not playing that on the touchscreen. No,
just like the Final Fantasy VII Before Crisis.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Golden Sun would have been dope to have. Like you said, too many RPGs. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Summer Game Fest because we just weren't able to last week to chat about it. Enough time has passed. I don't feel like we need to right now, but I just wanted to bring up all the RPGs that were also announced, like especially with the Xbox showcase too. So RPGs are just in the air right now, and I'm like, I'm kind of for it. Yeah,
I love RPGs. I like the slower paced stuff. Expedition 33. I think we were talking about it on when you're streaming.
Oh yeah,
that looks really cool. Like I went back and watched. I'm like, this is cool, and it's not stuck to Xbox. It's not an exclusive. I'm down to play that.
I was going to ask if it was an exclusive or not because I know it was on the Xbox showcase. So I'm assuming it's going to be on Game Pass. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, because I think I looked it up on PS5. You can add it to a wish list. So
okay.
Yeah, so it'll be there. But yeah, I mean, Summer Games. I mean, just like quick elevator pitch of what it was. I mean, I was entertained. It was pretty cool. I think that's where we got the Street Fighter 6 DLC.
I think so,
which was pretty cool because I love SNK fighting games like Terry. When I was in my trip to Texas, it was just like, let's check out arcades, let's play some old fighting games, right? So I'm down for it. Yeah, I had a good time watching it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, you heard how hype I was for Astrobot, so because that was announced, I'm like, yes, this is an A+ presentation for me. I think that was probably the game I was most excited that they announced, at least for me. I just love I feel like for the same reason I was praising like Paper Mario in terms of like this vibrant, lively, fun, a world built to celebrate Sony's franchises and stuff, but also just to make like one of the best 3D platformers that has been ever, maybe.
Yeah,
like
you don't get much of those anymore.
No, definitely not. It feels like it always ends up being like character action or like, I guess character action games instead of a 3D platformer. The last one we got was Mario, whatever that last Mario game is. I'm blanking out right now with Cappy.
Mario Wonder, right? Oh, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey. Thank you. Yeah, no, not Mario Wonder. That 2D brilliance. So I think I'm really excited for Astrobot, but I think that's it. Was there any other non-video game stuff that you were into, watching, enjoying?
Non-video game stuff? Not. I mean, I watched was Baby Reindeer. I don't know if you watched that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because my supervisor was like, "Hey, yo, check it out. This might
be relevant to
to the work I do." And I was like, okay. And that was, I'm still healing from the dental work I got done. So I was like, you know what? It's a Sunday. Let me watch it. I was like, bro, I hate these normie shows. I don't give a shit. I was hooked. I was like, this is really good. Because me, I'm not into shows, right? Like, have you watched this? I'm like, nah, I'm more of a gamer. Right? I like the game. But it's like when something hooks me, like I'll sit down and watch it.
Yeah, you'll just like binge through it or something.
Yeah, which was, Baby Reindeer was like, oh shit, like damn. Yeah. That was like some heavy stuff. It was really good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I haven't watched it myself, but I've been watching so many shows just like came out recently. The Boys. Have you ever watched The Boys?
No, I haven't. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. You know
I
what
just
it's
know
about?
he's in Homelander's in Mortal Kombat, and I think I asked you, he's like, what's this stuff with the milk? What is going on with the milk?
Right.
Yeah.
I think you would actually enjoy that show as well because of its like anti-hero hero story. It came out at a right time. I forgot when the first season came out. It might have been 2020.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Season 1, 2019. So either way, it's still at kind of like the pinnacle of Marvel's hype. And for it to then come out to be a show about killing superheroes and stuff and how superheroes are actually like kind of a plague on the earth, in the world, and like kind of dangerous for people. Like it did something like kind of interesting in its core, to have that story. And how it's executing it is just like a very vulgar, like gruesome,
Yeah. I've heard that.
but
Yeah.
entertaining way. And it's still fun. I feel like it's kind of lost a bit of its luster in season 3, but season 4 is out right now and it's still coming out. And I've been enjoying what I've seen so far, which is just 3 episodes, I think. But yeah, I think that'd be another show you could get into.
Yeah,
maybe.
if I ever have some downtime, if I ever get more dental work done and I'm like, dude, I don't need to play. Yeah, I mean, I've been keeping up with like manga, One Piece, right? My Hero. I started reading Boruto because my cousin recommended. He's like, hey, yo, check it out. Like, it's better than the anime. So I've been reading through that as well.
That's
I finished caught up to One Punch Man as well. Yeah, I do it like whenever I'm like cooking or meal prepping and I got like an hour to kill. I'm like, let me read some manga.
That's nice. Yeah. That's kind of the perfect time to do it. I'd ask you questions about One Piece, but I don't want to go into too spoilery stuff.
We're not the One Piece podcast.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I'm not expecting our audience to be caught up there. I'm really liking what's going on in One Piece as well. Did you read the latest chapter though? We won't.
Yeah. So I read them each Sunday. Yeah, when we go up. But yeah,
because I remember you said there was a time where you were banking them and you were just gonna read them all.
At this point, they were there. He was going on hiatus, or not hiatus, just taking a break, right? And I was like, you know what, just whatever, let's read it. Because my brother caught up too, because he was on summer break and stuff, and
that's
he
awesome.
Caught up, and I was like, okay, cool. Then I don't have to wait because I have someone to talk to about it now, right? Mm-hmm. Like right away, right? And we talk about it, And I want to say thank you for keeping the spoilers in check because I know you're like, oh, I don't want to spoil anything, right? You're on that chapter, right? Thanks for that, man.
Totally. Yeah. I wanted you to experience it the way I did, just like naturally for the first time, like with all the reactions being real and not knowing what's going to happen. So really glad that I have somebody else to talk about with that franchise. I guess the last thing media piece that I wanted to shout out was Inside Out 2.
Oh, yeah. I watched it.
Oh, you watched it too?
Yeah. I just watched it this past weekend.
Nice. Yeah, same here. What'd you think? Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't as great as the first one, right? But for what it was, right? I'm like, the way they portrayed anxiety, Riley's panic attack,
so good.
Almost at the end of the movie, right? I was like, whoa, this is like
so good.
Oh, this is like really good, and there was a line that Joy was like, maybe growing up, you just feel less joy. And I was like, damn, dude, we didn't have to get that heavy. I was like, whoa. I'm sure the 6-year-olds understand that one.
For real. I know. Yeah, that's what I thought was like so brilliant about that movie is it feels like there were so many lines and so many nuances to the characters and the different emotions that are like, going to be entertaining for the kids just to see because they're like, oh, the character is being so silly and quirky or something. But then for the adults, you're like, especially with anxiety, you're like, oh shit, this feels so real.
Yeah.
I know during the panic attack scene, I heard like people crying in the theater, or like I think they were crying. I definitely heard sniffles and stuff like from various parts of the movie theater. And I went on a Saturday night, so it was pretty packed. I kind of was there with them. I felt very much like it felt too real. Even my partner was just like, I didn't like the movie. And I'm like, what? Why? She said it felt way too real. Gave me way too much anxiety, and I felt anxious the whole time. And I like totally understand that because did a really good job at like portraying this empathy and making it easier for you to empathize with the emotions that were happening there. Did you have a favorite emotion character?
It's like a new one.
New or old? But I mean, it feels like they really highlighted the new.
I think his name was like Ennui. The
Ennui,
one?
Yeah,
that one was just like, bro, that's like teenage years, man. Where you're like bored and like,
just download the app.
Yeah, like nothing matters, right? I don't care. I just want to go home and play on my
Yeah.
fucking Wii.
I know.
I was like,
Yes.
that was relatable. I was like, damn, that was like me in high school. And I was like, I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to go home and play Mother
Video
3 on
games.
my hacked PSP. I don't give a shit about this.
I know. That one felt a little too real. I was cringing a little hard because of how much it reminded me when I was young and felt that way. I enjoyed Embarrassment's portrayal of just like this kind of big, goofy guy
Mhm.
who is afraid to speak and like contribute. So he kind of silently does, and it was still pretty insightful. And it was kind of due to him helping out Sadness that the rest of the crew was able to rally against anxiety and like try to prevent anxiety from doing her thing, which wasn't really successful, but at least he was the first one to show some empathy. So I respected that for him. I really appreciated Maya Hawke's performance as anxiety and just the depiction of anxiety itself. That felt very real. And the whole pillow fort and like the whole thing of how the imagination that was being used as a kid, like to imagine like these fun scenarios, but now as an adult, it is being used to try to think of everything that could go wrong and try to plan for it instead. I'm like, oh man, that is so apt. That is such a good comparison. I really like that movie.
Yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it as well.
Cool. I'm really glad you saw it too. I feel like on the Reddit thread, there's several therapists who are like, yeah, I kind of have to watch this movie for my clients, and my clients are going to watch this movie too. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. So it's definitely a psychologist's movie.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, shit, we deviated hard from video games right now. Yeah. Any last words for your first episode of Scatterbrained or anything else you wanted to leave people with?
No, this really lived up to the name Scatterbrained, right? Talking about what have you been playing? Oh, the Nintendo Direct, right? Oh, what have you been watching, right? Inside Out.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah, this was
totally.
This is a good time. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad. Thank you for being down to try this out, and had a good time with this too. Everyone who's listened to us, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Be good to one another, and appreciate your listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.